Hey, what is up guys, this is Norman3000. Today we are going back to my roots. About 13 years ago, I made my first review on YouTube. It was Cherry Mobile Flare. Back then, I did not have a script, a tripod, a decent camera, or even a mic. Heck, I did not even have good lighting. Basically, my production value was non-existent back then. I like to believe that now, my production value is much better. But it has been years since I reviewed an actual smartphone, so I apologize in advance if I seem rough around the edges. What we have here now is the Xiaomi Redmi A3. What gravitated me to test this one is the price. At about 3,500 pesos, the Xiaomi Redmi A3 is a full-fledged Android phone. Is it any good? If you want a very short video, no. Honestly, this is not a good phone. This is not a good phone even for 3,500 pesos. It is very slow and is honestly infuriating to use on the daily. If you want to know more, stick around and find out why. So first we have the unboxing here. Next is a tour of the device. Honestly, this device looks great. The back feels like faux leather and there's a big circular camera bump here. One side houses the micro SD card, a big boon, and the capability for 2 SIM cards. One side houses the volume rocker and the power button, and this one doubles as a fingerprint scanner, which is also a plus too. The bottom thankfully has Type-C USB port. The front houses a 6.71 720p IPS display. The display is actually decent. I would even say good for the price. It tops out at 500 nits, which might be unintelligible on harsh sunlight, but for the price, this is okay. At this point in time, cameras on even budget Android phone can produce usable results in scenarios of stills and great lighting condition. Keyword "and". If your subject moves, the shot will get blurry. For samples, here are some stills. Next up is the battery. The 5,000 mAh battery here is certainly big. Standby time is quite decent and screen on time on heavy days can get you about 6 hours or more. It can last you about 2 days on very light use. The problem comes with charging. It charges at 10 watts. The phone will get to 100 eventually. It takes about 2 hours and 45 minutes to get to 0 to 100. This charging time is just way too long. 30-minute charge for 15 to 20% battery, that's just too slow, especially here in 2025. For the performance, this is where the Redmi A3 falls flat. This is a full-fledged Android phone. I thought I was getting an Android Go phone, but no. The pre-installed Google apps here are the full version. And there are a lot of it. There are also a lot of pre-installed bloatware too, which just makes this so annoying to essentially set up. The good thing is, all the apps that I usually use anyway does work. The bad thing is, they do so eventually. Almost all apps have quite a bit of a load time, and while it is good that it does load them eventually, it can get infuriating at times, especially if you're dealing with banking apps. The apps take too long to load that the app itself thinks that the phone may have crashed, but no, this is just the phone being too slow. So for a quick example, I'm going to try to open GCash here. So do you see how long that took to tell me that I need to do an update? For another example, let's open Lazada. Lazada is a bit faster, but when navigating, you can see that it's so laggy. It's too slow. You can also play mobile games here, and while light games does run, the load times are also abysmal. It can play Mobile Legends, but I suggest not to play it on rank as it may crash. I've only ever played Brawl here. So let me open up a couple more apps and games here to give you an idea of the performance of the Redmi. So let's try Crossy Roads. 40. So as you can see, I'm not sure if I should press now or not, if it's loading or what. This is just too slow. See, it's a blue screen. It's a literal blue screen. See, even Crossy Road, it's lagging. This is just so infuriating. I would also like to add, the Redmi A3 can only connect to Wi-Fi on 2.4 GHz. While this is okay as all routers do still emit 2.4 GHz band, this band caps the speed to 50 Mbps, which adds to the feeling of the slowness of the device. I tried to download Mobile Legends here and it took me almost a day. Mobile Legends has resources amounting to 8 GB, so the slow band and the slow phone really took its time. For a quick example here, I'm going to do a speed test for this one. This is the OnePlus 7 and this is the Redmi A3. So these are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. If I run the speed test here, you can see it's about 80 Mbps. But for the Redmi A3, since this one is capped at 2.4 GHz band, just look at that speed. So that's literally less than half of the OnePlus 7. So I know benchmark apps are not a good indicator of overall performance, but humor be for a bit here. I bought a OnePlus 5 in 2017. Currently, it tops up at 315K on Antutu. And I have used this phone until 2020 and handed it down to my cousin. He then handed it down to his mom in 2022, where she would use it with no issues or complaints up until June 2024. My cousin and my aunt uses their phone a lot, mostly on social media and playing some low-end games. The OnePlus 5 gave out because its battery is dead. What I'm trying to say is that a phone powered with a chip maxing out at 315K is still very much usable about 8 years later. The Redmi A3 is equipped with the Helio G36 processor, which tops out at about 142K. The Helio G6 is more or less similar to the Snapdragon 820 phones for about 8 years ago, and wouldn't you know it, I actually have two phones from that era. So this is the LG V20, which has the Snapdragon 820, and this is the first Pixel from 2016, which has the slightly more powerful Snapdragon 821. I have actually made a video of the Pixel 2016 in 2024, so check the performance out on that one. In a nutshell, neither the Pixel 2016 nor the LG V20, at least for my case, can satisfy me with the performance, especially if I'm going to use it for a daily driver. Neither of the three software cuts it as well. The LG V20 has Android 9, the Pixel 6 has Android 10, and the Redmi A3 has Android 14. It seems that even software can save this lowly processor in 2025. The Redmi really does need a bit more power to be passable for a daily driver. So where does this leave us with the Redmi A3? Let's know quick pros and cons. For the pros, it has a decent build. It's relatively cheap at 3,500 pesos brand new. It has microSD, dual SIM card functionality, and for all intents and purposes, this is a full-fledged Android phone. For the cons, there is only one, and that is performance. I would not count the camera as a con because of the price, but I will not count it as a pro either. The battery, while big, charges very slow, so this is neither a pro or a con too. Priced at about 3,500 pesos, there's only one con with the Redmi A3, and that is the lackluster performance bordering on abysmal. And that is enough for me to not recommend this phone to anyone. 12 years ago, the Cherry Mobile Flare took the Philippines by storm by offering a great phone for about 4,000 pesos. While that was great back then, we do have to take into account inflation. According to an inflation calculator, 4,000 pesos in 2012 is 5,500 in 2022. It is reasonable to conclude that that would be roughly 6,000 pesos in 2024-2025. And honestly, for 6,000 pesos, you do have phones that perform at how the Flare performed back then. Sales like 1111 and 1212 also give you more bang for your buck. I recently got a Redmi Note 13 for about 6,500 pesos. And I honestly think that the Redmi Note 13 is a competent daily driver. If you're looking for a phone below 3,500 pesos, you have very little choices, but I would not recommend the Redmi A3. Again, the Redmi A3 works and can run most apps. Eventually. Either get a second-hand phone or save up for a bit more, and take advantage of Lazada and Shopee voucher sales to get a better deal. How about you? Do you have a Redmi A3? Tell me in the comments how unsmart I am for not getting the point of this phone. Did you have reservations against the Redmi A3? Did I convince you not to buy, or will you push through? Whatever it is, share your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Consider like, sharing, and subscribing if you found this useful. This has been Norman 3000. See you soon, and happy holidays! The front houses the 6.71 720p IPS. About 12 years ago, the Cherry Mobile Flare took the Oh god. It is reasonably and take advantage of Lazada and Vouchy.